So fields, Dreamtime and fields, waking life and fields. I want to talk about these things. So, and you can tell what kind of field you're in by usually, because you and I are sensitive, by how we're feeling. Like there's a smile inside, there's a nice upliftment happens. That very often is indicative of us coming into a nesting dolls of fields that are uplifting and are harmonic for our being. Okay. And those fields that we experience in the waking world and how we feel, those fields also heavily influence us in dream time as well. An example could be, and I'm sure you guys probably have had this happen where you're very lightly sleeping in a dream and someone's knocking at your door, and in your dream someone's knocking at your door saying, wake up, wake up, wake up, right? And then you wake up and you realize, oh, someone actually was knocking on my door, right? So that's, a very crude, rudimentary example. It gets a lot more subtle than that too. So these nesting dolls influence how we feel in the here and now, and it influences how things unfold in our dream time. Now, when you are weaving in, oh, Kenai. All right, that's it. All right, I might have to let the dog in. He's not happy about being out here. It's pretty sunny. Anyway, getting back to dream time. So all these nesting dolls influence us waking and sleeping, and in dream time what happens is that we very much have to process our unresolved thoughts and feelings about the previous day or series of days for us to get out from those nesting dolls and have and expand beyond the programming, beyond the matrix, in the dream realm. Okay. And a way to cut through this, not that you don't need to deal with your stuff, because we need to deal with our stuff, right? We have a lot of stuff. We chose our families very well, or partners or whatever, right? We chose the perfect ones to dance on all the buttons that our ancestors have, handed us. Anyway, keep it moving. So in dream time, there's a way to get through this because you're working at your stuff and you're practicing good energetic hygiene. You are building your energy field so it's strong. So you cut through this by those factors and calling in helpful ancestors to be working with you. Because what happens is that there's like a map. There's a map in the dream realm, and this map is pretty much the different zones, and each zone in the dream realm has access to other zones that maybe you wouldn't have access to. So like in the waking world, for example, those of you who work with energy, they're do shamanic stuff. In the waking world, you surround your field so you're very clear, and then you're able to track. Now, if you don't track, you are talking to another kind of entity, maybe your higher self or some sort of guardian, and they're just giving you information. That's different than tracking. Tracking is using your senses to follow energy. So these fields are set, you're clear and uplifted, and then you track energy to get to the source. So in a waking world situation, that's how it is. In a dream realm situation, it's very, very similar, except there's a lot of unresolved thoughts and feelings that we have about some of these other nesting dolls going on that we haven't resolved yet. So it's like working with the ancestors are fast forwards this in the sense that they remind us who we are immediately. As soon as we get into the realm where our realms are overlapping, right, they wake us up to who we are immediately just with contact, and now we can start navigating the ocean of dream realm and have access to portal points, portals, realms, beings that we normally would not have access to because we're working out our BS as a human, right? So doing your personal work, building a strong energy field, building a relationship with ancestors is all essential pieces to reclaiming your capacity as one who dreams the world into being. Now, what's very counterintuitive is, because a lot of you out there are saying, well, I never remember my dreams. I gotcha. It actually doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because when you are consciously coming into dream time with an intent to connect with an ancestor, with an intent to work through a blind spot, with an intent to whatever that is, that intention carries into your dream time and you're doing it. Okay. You may not remember that, what the storyline is, but very often people remember the feeling that they wake up with. The feeling that you have when you wake up out of dream time is the big medicine of dream time. The For you personally, the other part is that you start lining up the different nesting dolls, so thoughts, visions, inspirations are not interrupted with disharmonics, are not interrupted with self-sabotage, and they just drop right in seamlessly right into your subconscious, and now you are experiencing the synchronicity of that reality. You see? Now, the way I described it makes it sound easy. It's not easy. Even if you're a lucid dreamer, it's not easy, because we are deeply invested in this human experience and what we think it is. Deeply invested. There's also things added in that make it a little sticky sometimes, and that is oh, I've heard I never can remember that woman's name. There's a woman. All right, it's not there. I don't have her name, but she used some language that I liked, and she talked about simulation. That simulations get added into the unfoldment of our reality that distract us energetically, distract us emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Okay. And those simulations are, they're on overtime right now, because a lot of us are cutting through, we're cutting through it, and we're seeing the actual reality, or we're that much closer to seeing the actual reality of how we move forward with sovereignty and clarity, with the timeline that is truly authentic to what our soul's purpose is, not all this other distraction stuff.